All right, here we go. See if that works. I'm not sure. I'm trying all sorts of things. I'm having really weird things where the microphone doesn't seem to be picking up through. Any of the microphones seem to be picking up. So this is a wonderful start to return. So sorry I've been away for a while. Just priorities, other podcasts, a new job, family stuff, things going on in the world that won't get into here, but here we go. Um, Redwall, Book 2, Chapters 6 through 10. So here's. Oh, I can't seem to get it right. And now I'm going to do it. Okay, here we are. All right, so let's see if we can get through this without weird issues. Um, So here we are, chapters 6 through 10. Mostly, there's two things: the finding out that Martin's sword is missing through the riddles, that the riddles lead to the weather vane, but the sword is no longer there, and the betrayal of Sela and Chicken Hound to Redwall, while Clooney plots and schemes and makes diversion plans. So here we go. So I like the riddles in this section. I think they're fine. There's nothing too hard about them. I think they work out wonderfully. And as an introduction to riddles, kids, I think they often work really well. Um, I like the moon cycle one. I like the gate over the threshold one. Um, I like the how that works out with the redirection of the sword. So it doesn't just shine specifically, but you actually have to redirect the moonlight. I like that. Some may see that a bit contrived, but that's fine because I think um, we have 13 moons for this to be right. They just happen to be just right for June. And also, there's fate and destiny going on with the connection between Martin and Matthias. So I think there's some play going on there as well, and especially since we've had a few times uh, Martin has appeared in a dream to Matthias about all this. So I think that's fine as well. So the other thing is I like the whole dynamics going on between the characters and how Constance actually plays a role in this, and that it kind of feels like someone else outside of our two main characters is has a bit of intelligence and perspective that helps in the discovery of where the sword is. I like that. I like the whole dynamic between the three of them and them joking about staying up late and how that joke builds. So that's really nice. I think the one thing early on that I within these chapters that I think kind of gets glossed over a bit is the discovery of Martin's tomb. Like this should be kind of the big, huge discovery. Like Martin's tomb has probably been missing for centuries. And while the sword is important, I think kind of like the fact that it's kind of glanced over a bit is a bit disappointing. I think that's probably one of the weakest aspects of this story is that uh, overall that that doesn't get touched on enough. And there should be something else done with that. I don't know. Um, but then we have the tapestry that gets used a lot later, Martin's sword, Martin's dreams. So, um, and I think the tomb does get touched on later with one story. I can't remember what that is. I can't remember. Anyway, so it's okay. It's fine. Um, yeah, I also though like that the sword is not there, and then the sword disappears from the web ring as well. Kind of like after centuries of this, that's something might have happened, something unexpected, um, something unplanned. happen to the sword, and so I like that. Um, um, Things I also like in this section before we get to my big thing in this section, in terms of characters, is I like again the dynamic between Basil and Ambrose Spike. They're fun get-togethers, and we see more of Basil's character. I think he points out Cornflower quite a bit, which is a little odd, kind of a bit strange. Like I think he's pointing Matthias in direction of Cornflower more, but I think it's I think he's being a little too straightforward and kind of leans in a little too much. But I do like him giving the dagger to Silent Sam, and I think that works. Um, let's see what else. Um, I like kind of Ambrose Spike also getting this thing, though that leads also to a little strange bit where it's like Martin and Methuselah are giddy over one of their discoveries, and Ambrose overhears them, and he's like, "I think they've been drinking too much," and I'm like, "You're the cellar hog, and you seem to like drink quite a bit yourself. I don't know why you're being so critical." And then the abbot kind of just throws it off there and says, "Hey, if drink helps them discover what we need to know," it's like, okay. It's funny that like the cellar hog is like being critical and Abbott is like, oh, whatever. So that's a little bit odd. I think it's funny. I don't know what Brian Shakes is going for there, but I think that's funny. Kind of the almost opposite reactions. Maybe it's because Ambrose takes drink more seriously, I guess, and it's not for frivolity. It's something serious. It's a serious business drinking. I don't know. Um, but the other aspect of this part of the story is um, the introduction of Warbeak, who is the first major bird character of the series. And I really like birds in Redwall. I think they present a really fun dynamic where they have somewhat of a like other quality, sort of like with Asmodeus, but it's it's more not so much it's not otherworldliness so much as just the kind of more baser nature that like you have snakes which kind of feel otherworldly in this thing while maintaining their beastly. Well, birds tend to be a bit more bestial. They tend to be kind of like on this level of more like just base animals living off the land, and they just that's just the way they live. They don't seem to care too much about um the rest of the world. And so they kind of, and it's like they stake out a territory and they protect it. And that's what they do. And so Warbeak represents the sparrows in this, and they're kind of just nature to just attack anything that isn't them. That's also kind of a big aspect of birds, is they just attack things that aren't them. And not like in the villain sense of well, we want plunder, booty, we don't like peaceful creatures or something. It's just we see you as others, and if you infringe on our territory, you're other. Doesn't matter who you are. So that'll be a big aspect. And so Warbeak kind of represents the first of this, but then there'll be interesting dynamics where we have kind of a mixture of really good birds that maybe they're not like um maybe they're not like heroic, but they're good and they sometimes do heroic things, versus kind of a more baser instincts. And then there are a couple birds, particularly Matameo and a couple other books. Doom White does this too, where birds are just evil, as well. So birds also run have a pretty strange and long scale of good to bad, but it's also but they kind of always feel like they're a bit more baser than all the woodland creatures or even vermin. So that's an aspect that's important to keep in mind. And we're gonna see, and I just love her kind of uh very just attitude of just I'll just keep saying Keely and wants to kill Matthias no matter how much her pleas are pretty useless, and it's kind of like this proud nature that she has that's really fun and dynamic, and we're going to see that grow. How that initial kind of reaction of Matthias versus Warbeak, and how that will eventually play out into something really, really wonderful. I think that's one of the best character relationships growth in the entirety of the series. So I really like that. And then, so there's not much else. The big thing is and I actually read it when I was trying to do some Badger stuff back in September for Lord Brocktree anniversary. I might try to do a few more Badger readings just this year, just for Lord Brocktree's sake. And Redwall's 40th will be out next year, so that'll be fun, and I'll do more readings with that. So the fact I didn't get to as many as I would like, well, I can do readings all through next year. But let's see. Um, but the scene that I did read was Constance versus Redtooth, which is a really great scene, and kind of the first, like, you have the moment where Constance overthrows the table, and that's like just a great moment, but it's kind of like a split second moment. And in here is really where we see the first time where Badger's strength is just unparalleled, and really hits home of what not not only does she have the power behind it, but the ferocity behind it to bring death it pretty easily to Redtooth. Um, I really like that. Um, I liked the kind of first. It's pretty basic, and it's a basic setup for Clooney, um, providing a diversion. But I liked how it's done, partially because I think Sela just takes Clooney too much for granted. I think she has her sly nature, and she's relied on it so long that she kind of overlooks Clooney. And probably there are plenty of vermin she's taken advantage of, and Clooney kind of even very vicious vermin, and she's just taken advantage of all of them. And Clooney, to her, is just another one. But Clooney actually has the intelligence beyond the brawn to back it up, so he's able to trick Sela and Chicken Hound and pretty easily. And he just it doesn't she just doesn't understand that he's capable of that. That's how I read that, because it kind of seems like I think why she was able to be fooled so easily, because she's done it for so long. Sometimes that's what happens. You um you get so used to tricking creatures that are so far below you that you don't think that anyone could be smarter than you. And she doesn't know Clooney enough to know that, and so he's actually much smarter than her. So that doesn't work out, and we learn about that there's a plan, and it builds suspense, right? That while they're being distracted at the main gate, they'll be digging underneath, and so that builds tension. Um, and so, but yeah, so we end on two different things that I think are really nice, which is um the um um well, three things. We have Sela and uh, Fangburn trying to explain this to Clooney, which I think is lovely, because it's like it doesn't matter to Clooney. Clooney's probably like at I can't remember, but Clooney's probably just gonna be like, like whatever, because Redtooth's dead. Who cares? And the plans he wanted uh, got sent, so it's all a trick, right? Uh, and then I like the dynamic that we're setting up for Matthias and Warbeak. So there we go. There's a quick one. I wanted to get through this quick because it's just been so long, and there. And I might go into more detail, but I at least want to get something out um, for next for now. So I finally have a starting place now that I hopefully going to be back in the swing of things. Well, thanks for listening, and I hope this works because I have a weird setup. So, alrighty. Hopefully talk to you soon and be able to do more videos quicker. All right, bye.